Hi, it's Steve. In this video, we will look at some of the reasons why your top-load washer may be making an unusual noise. We will try to help you to determine where that noise may be coming from, what components may be involved, and how to correct the problem. If your washer is making a ticking or high-pitched vibrating sound, it could be related to the drain pump. Pretty much identify that the noise is coming from this pump, so we'll pull the inlet hose off and see if there's something caught in the impeller. Now we've removed a suspected defective drain pump from this washer, and once we looked in the input to the impeller portion of that pump, we see there is a foreign object in there. So using a pair of needle nose pliers, we'll just pull that out. Verify that the impeller turns freely, there's no damage to the housing, and we can put that pump back in the washer and it should work just fine. If your top-load washer is making a loud buzzing or humming sound when it tries to start, you may have a defective drive motor. Some top-load washers also use a motor start capacitor, and that may cause the same symptom as well. This is a typical drive motor from a top-load direct drive washer. This particular model has the start capacitor attached to the side of the motor housing. So first of all, we would inspect the terminals on that start capacitor, verify that they're making good connection, that there's no arcing or corrosion on the terminals. We'd also look and verify that there's no leakage in that area or swelling of the actual capacitor itself. Also verify that the motor shaft turns freely. If it doesn't turn freely, the motor would be defective and need to be replaced. We'll also check and make sure that there's no signs of arcing or corrosion on the terminals at the motor switch, and look for any signs of overheating in this area as well. That would indicate a defective switch and the motor would need to be replaced. On some popular direct drive models, a motor coupler is used to transfer power from the motor to the transmission and drive shaft assembly. If your washer is making a loud thumping sound, it may be related to that motor coupler. You may also note that the agitation may be very slow, or the spin speed may be slow or non-existent. The motor coupler consists of two plastic drive cams and a rubber cushion in between. Now, in this style of direct drive washer, the motor sits right next to the transmission, and the motor shaft is attached to that motor coupler to transfer power from the motor to the transmission. If that center rubber portion of that motor coupler gets warm bad enough, it will start to slip during the spin portion of the cycle. You can usually determine if your drive coupler is bad just with a visual check. You will need to remove your cabinet or to tilt the washer on its back to inspect that motor coupler. If it is defective, you will need to replace it. If your top-load washer makes a loud thumping sound or a screeching sound either in the wash cycle or the spin cycle, and your washer is a belt drive model, you may have a defective belt. Carefully check the belt for any signs of glazing which may cause that high-pitched squealing. Also check for any damage to the belt which would cause that thumping sound. The main cause for premature belt failure on top-load models is from overloading, so use caution when loading your washer. If your top-load washer makes a loud roaring sound in the spin cycle, or maybe even a scraping sound, you may have a bad tub bearing. Top-load washers sometimes use two bearings, one normally located at the bottom of the outer tub where the transmission or drive shaft assembly enters the tub, and another at the base of that transmission. We've removed the extra components from the bottom of this tub to show you a defective bearing. You can see the rust and fluid that is leaked out of that area, and also how that The bearing is actually quite loose in there now. On the top side, you can actually see the bearing, and again, you can see where it has leaked some fluid, and there's also some rusting in that area. Normally this assembly should have a nice clean area where that bearing is and be very stable in its position. Now, as mentioned, there's typically a second bearing on a top load washer right where the base of the tub is and where the drive mechanism would fit into that. So you'll also want to inspect this area and verify that that bearing, or bushing is in this case, is in good condition. And you'll also want to inspect the seal that is on the top side of that inside of the outer tub. If your top load washer makes a loud banging sound in the spin cycle, shakes uncontrollably, or bounces around your laundry room, you may have some problems with your suspension system. Top load washers normally use some type of coil spring suspension to allow some lateral movement of the tub and also to reduce stress on the inner tub and the drive components. They will also have some type of dampening system to prevent excessive movement of the tub during an out of balance load. Repeated unbalanced loads and heavy use may cause premature failure of some of the suspension components. Look for broken or stretched springs and replace them as a set if any are found defective. If your model uses rubber dampening straps, replace any that are damaged. You should always try to use a balanced load in your top load washer and avoid really small loads when possible. Thank you so much for watching this video. We certainly hope that it was helpful to you, and remember to subscribe so you don't miss a thing.